Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. In the years following World War I, French military aviation was rather neglected. Military leadership was very much stuck in the old mindset, preparing to fight another war similar to the previous one, constructing defensive fortifications, and failing to develop a coherent operational doctrine for the Air Force. The aviation component of the Army became an independent service in 1933, but there were still many political and economic challenges it had to face. By 1937, another war in Europe was imminent, and the French Air Force, Armée de l'Air, operated virtually no modern aircraft. A modernization plan was put together, and it soon became obvious that the national industry had no capacity to support it. Some modern aircraft would have to be purchased elsewhere, and the French quickly turned to the only market able to provide them, the United States of America. In early 1938, they chose Curtiss P-36 Hawk. This fighter was about to enter service with the US Army Air Corps, and the export model purchased by France was given the designation H-75. The type's performance was generally inferior to the latest version of Messerschmitt Bf-109, the E model, but Hawk still shined in one aspect: maneuverability. Hawk pilots couldn't necessarily decide whether to fight or not, but when attacked, they could defend themselves. Hawk 75 was armed with four 7.5mm machine guns, which gave it a decent but hardly spectacular firepower. The first French contract covered the delivery of 100 H-75A1 models, which reached France in February 1939. Second order for slightly upgraded A2 models was delivered between July and September. There were further orders for A3 and A4 models. Total order for the Hawk was 600 airframes, but only 416 of those were delivered before the fall of France in 1940, and the rest were purchased by Britain. When World War II began, Hawk 75 was the second most numerous French fighter, equipping 4 fighter groups with about 160 airframes total. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. You can play it for free on PC or consoles. You can control an unbelievable number of over 2,500 airplanes, helicopters, tanks and ships of 10 major nations, spanning the period between 1920s biplanes, all the way to 4th generation fighters. The game itself is free. It'll run smoothly, even on low-end PCs, and is user-friendly, with mouse and keyboard needed only. The highly detailed realistic graphics and sound effects will help you immerse yourself in history. If you have seen some YouTube videos from this game and it seems too arcade for you, the Simulator Battles mode is what you will like. Cockpit views only, no labels and no frantic furballs. I've personally used War Thunder to create a number of my videos, including this one. Join the community of over 70 million players in epic PvP battles, because no other game is better suited to military history fans. Why don't you start playing War Thunder for free on your PC, PlayStation or Xbox using my link in the pinned comment or video description. New players or those who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack, including premium vehicles rent, an exclusive Eagle of Valor vehicle decorator, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. The offer is valid for a limited time only. On 8 September 1939, 1 week after the German attack on Poland began, 6 Hawks belonging to Groupe de Chasse 2-4 were flying along the border over the Landau-Sargemund area just after dawn. They were led by Adjutant-Chef Robert Couchon. At one point, the Hawks came under sustained anti-aircraft fire. They escaped back over their lines without damage, but 30 minutes later they were bounced by 4 Messerschmitt Bf-109Es from 1st Gruppe of Jagdgeschwader 53. They were led by none other than the famous German ace, Werner Mölders, the top-ranking German pilot of the Spanish Civil War. Mölders attacked the leading trio of the French formation. The Hawk pilots turned into the attackers and the Messerschmitts overshot. Robert Cruchon saw Antoine Cazeneuve following a 109 overhead. Cazeneuve chased the German fighter all the way down to 1500 meters, spraying it with machine gun fire. The Messerschmitt eventually rolled on its back. Pierre Villet was seen fighting 3 109s. After a lot of turning, he got behind one and achieved hits. He had to give up the attack to shake off another Messerschmitt off his tail. Cruchon was attempting to help his comrades, but he had a couple of German fighters on his own tail. He was able to evade their fire and even reported hitting one back after some hard maneuvering. French pilots claimed 2 Messerschmitts shot down, one shared between Robert Cruchon and Antoine Cazeneuve, and the other between Pierre Villet and Cruchon. The French claims were exaggerated. Their reports sound like each one of them was fighting 2 or 3 Messerschmitts alone, despite the fact that there were only 4 German fighters against 6 French Hawks in this battle. In the end, only a single Bf-109 was damaged enough to force land, due to receiving hits in the engine. But the damaged aircraft was flown by Werner Melders himself. He landed in a field and the landing gear sank into soft ground. The airplane flipped on its back. Three hefty laborers were unable to get Melders out, and he was only rescued by the troops of a nearby flak unit. He spent a couple of weeks in recovery, but then returned and quickly started scoring aerial victories. 2 French pilots involved in this combat, Villet and Cazeneuve, would eventually become aces as well. This wasn't the only action that day. 2 Bf-109Ds from Jagdgeschwader 52 patrolling the Rhine spotted a French recon aircraft taking an interest in the bridge at Kiel. The first pass chased the French plane off. But then Lieutenant Paul Gutbrod attacked again from the rear and shot the recon plane down, making this the first German aerial victory on the Western Front. Gutbrod received Iron Cross second class for this exploit, but he was eventually killed in June 1940. The period, which lasted until the German invasion of France and Low Countries in May 1940, is referred to as the Phony War by the British, Drôle de Guerre by the French, and Sitzkrieg by the Germans. It featured no ground battles or movements, but there was a lot of aerial combat. I hope to cover some of it in the future, and if you are interested in this topic, let me know in the comments. Let me thank War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Don't forget to use my link in the description or pinned comment to play the game for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox. New players or those who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus. It's a limited time offer only, so don't miss it. Thank you for your time and keep watching Showtime 112.